Welcome to my channel. My name is Rhea, and in this video we are going to talk about the astrology for the week of 23rd May to 29th May 2022. Now a lot is happening this week, right? We begin the week with the Sun-Jupiter sextile, an extremely positive aspect. Then we have Mars entering the sign of Aries, which it rules, where it loves to be, where it functions really well. We also have Venus changing signs this week. It's going to enter the sign of Taurus, and Venus rules Taurus. So both Mars and Venus are going to be in the signs that they rule, which means they are going to work really well. And we also have Venus making a stressful aspect this week to Pluto. It's going to square Pluto, but Mercury this week is going to trine Pluto, a positive aspect. So there is a lot to talk about. So let's get started. Now we begin this week on Monday with the Sun-Jupiter sextile, right? That's a 60-degree angle between the Sun and Jupiter. And right here, I'll put it on the chart for you guys. Jupiter is here and the Sun is here. 60-degree angle, right? And Jupiter is considered the most positive planet, right? It's the planet associated with expansion. It's the planet associated with giving gifts and blessings and rewards and healing. And now it's in a positive alignment with the Sun. And the Sun in astrology is our consciousness. It's our identity. So on Monday, with this positive aspect, there could be some healing that comes about, or there could be some blessings that we receive that affects us, affects our consciousness, affects our soul in a positive way. So that's how we begin this week, on a positive note, because last week was, especially last week Monday, with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the energies have not been very easy, right? Because although eclipses change things, eclipses can also feel quite challenging. So that's why last week, at least it started, right, 15th into the 16th, with a little bit of a challenge, I would say. But now this week, we begin this week with this positive aspect. So that's the first thing that I wanted to touch upon. And the second thing for this week is that Mars on Tuesday, 24th May, is going to enter the sign of Aries, right? Mars is right here, and it's going to be in Aries, and Mars rules the sign of Aries. And right now, there's a lot of Aries energy. If you can see, we have 5 energies. 5. That's a lot, right? We have Mars, we have the Moon, we have Jupiter, we have Chiron, and we have Venus. And what is Aries? Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. I will talk about Mars and Aries in just a moment, but Aries is the beginning point of the zodiac, right? It's an energy that's great at starting things. It's an energy that's great at being courageous and bold. So we have a lot of that right now, right? We have a lot of that energy, we have a lot of that drive, that initiative to start things. And Jupiter on May 10th entered the sign of Aries, and Jupiter has a 12-year cycle, right? So it finished its 12-year cycle and began a new 12-year cycle when it entered the sign of Aries on May 10th. And what that could mean is that we are starting a new 12-year cycle in our lives, right? And you can think of 12 years ago when Jupiter was in Aries, certain themes might come back up, not the exact same theme, but if you received some healing in some part of your life, if there was an expansion in some part of your life, say higher education was really highlighted, say 12 years ago, then a certain theme associated with that might come up with Jupiter in Aries, because it's a 12-year transit. So what I'm trying to say is that with five energies in Aries, we have a lot of initiative, a lot of courage, a lot of boldness to really start things and take action. So with Mars entering the sign of Aries on Tuesday, 24th May, that Arian energy is just magnified, because Mars is our drive, right? Mars makes things happen. And up until 24th May, it will be in the sign of Pisces, right? Where it doesn't function very well, where it met up with Neptune. So I would say that the transit of Mars in Pisces up until 24th May could have felt a little challenging in the sense, okay, how do I make this happen? I have these ideas, right? I have these visions, I have these dreams, Pisces, but I'm not able to make them into a reality, right? Take action on these visions and dreams that I have. So, with Mars changing signs, coming into the sign of Aries, we'll have that energy. It'll be much easier to do things, it'll be much easier to take action and make things a reality. So, that's what Mars in Aries does. It really infuses us with that energy and that drive to make things happen. But every sign has a positive and every sign has a dark side, right? The shadow. And the Aryan shadow is to do with being too impulsive, is to do with being aggressive, right? It's to do with not thinking and acting. It's to do with starting things and not finishing them. So all this is magnified as well. And Mars in Aries, yes, it's great for making things happen, but if we don't channel that energy well, right, it can manifest as this aggression, it can manifest as frustration. And there's a lot of Aries, especially as we enter this week, right? Tuesday into Wednesday, we have 5 energies. The moon's also in Aries, so a lot of that impulsive go-getting energy. Great for doing things, great for starting things, great for making things happen, great for going after things that scare you, right? Because Aries does not get scared. Aries is, in astrology, it's the warrior, it's the soldier, it's the athlete. It goes out there and it competes and it fights. So with Aries, right, it's a great time to do things that scare us. If you've been wanting to start something but you're scared, hesitant, feeling like how's this gonna go, and this energy can really give you that boost that, okay, you know what, face that. You have the courage, you have the initiative, you have that boldness to do this. So it's great for that. But what it's not great for is having conversations that can get aggressive, confronting someone. It's not great for really getting angry. And with Aries, yes, it'll give you that courage to do things, but it will also make us impulsive, right? Aries is very impulsive. So just think things through before saying things to somebody or doing things even, right? Just give it a thought, because Aries will start things, but Aries will not finish them. Or Aries will start something impulsively and then look back and say, oh, I did not think that through, did I? I'm an Aries moon. I understand Aries energy very well. And I didn't know this about myself, that I have this tendency of being impulsive and thinking after I have done something. But now that I know I have this Aries moon, I sit on that energy. I say, okay, you know what? I'm itching to start this thing. I'm really, really wanting to start this thing, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to wait it out and see if next week I still want to start this thing, then I will do it. And that helps. So with Aries, there'll be that energy, pushing you, pushing us to start things and do things and make things happen. But hang on to that energy, right? Think about it. Is that really what you want? Is it something that you will finish? Is it something that you're willing to work day and night over? Because like I said, Aries will start things, but we have to sustain something that we start, and Aries is not very good at that. So great for starting things, great for doing things that have not been done yet. And if you have work piled up, if you have that to-do list that you've been procrastinating, then this is the time to do it. Getting down to doing it is the best way to channeling this energy. Going after your dreams is the best way of channeling this energy. But confronting someone is not the best thing at this point. So that's Mars entering the sign of Aries. And Mars in Aries, Mars comes into the sign of Aries once in about 2 years or so. So once in every 2 years, right, we get this jet fuel to do things, because there's certain signs Mars works really well in. Aries is one of those signs, but Pisces, where it has been, is not one of those signs. And before I move on, I just want to mention, okay, I'll show this. What's wrong with this? I'll show this to you guys. So up until now, right, the months of, say, Jan, Feb, March, April. In Jan and Feb, we had a lot of Capricorn and Aquarius, right? A lot of energy in these two signs. Then it moved on. It moved on to Pisces. I believe March into April, we had a lot of Pisces, right? Especially mid-April, we had Jupiter there, Mars was there, Venus was there, a lot of Pisces. And what that means is the month of April, especially with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that happened on April 12th, right? There was a major closing out of the past, but these are slow energies. So it's not like, one day you wake up and the energies changed. No, it's a slow process. But the beginning of the end of the past started when Jupiter and Neptune conjuncted. And what I'm trying to say is that in the month of April, there was a lot of Pisces. Pisces is a very receptive energy. Pisces is an energy that is about closing out the past. It's a lot of subconscious stuff. It's where we connect with the spiritual world, right? It's where we connect with the higher realms. Neptune ruled sign Pisces. But so that was last month into the month of April. But now if you look at the chart, right, there's barely any Pisces left. Only Neptune is there, and it's at the end degrees of Pisces. Only Neptune's left. And where's the energy now? Aries. And what's Aries? Aries is where we take the dreams and the goals and the visions and the connections, right, that the downloads, so to speak, the messages that we receive from the universe, and make that a reality. Because in Pisces, we close out the past. Yes, we receive downloads, you can say, because we connect with the spiritual world, right? Pisces is the end of the zodiac. It's the connection with the higher realm. So we receive a lot of visions, we receive a lot of insights, which are to do with closing out the past, but which are also to do with beginning the new cycle. And this is extremely important right now because we have Jupiter in Aries after 12 years, right? So that's what makes this really special, that Jupiter and Neptune conjuncted in Pisces in the month of April, and now Jupiter is in Aries, although it will retrograde back into Pisces. But we are seeing what this new energy that is starting for us is all about, right? So that's what Aries is. It begins the new cycle of the zodiac, a lot of new energy coming in. And up until now, it may not have been in our material world, so to speak, right? Because Pisces is not the material world. It's the higher realms. It's the other world. But in Aries, we can really take those visions, take those dreams, and take that connection with the universe and make that a reality. So we have a lot of that energy right now, a lot of it. So that's Tuesday, Mars entering the sign of Aries, adding to that Arian energy that is already magnified with Jupiter there. So that's another thing. And then on Wednesday, right, on Wednesday, we are going to have Mercury here, which is retrograde, by the way, trine Pluto, 120-degree angle, a positive aspect. And Mercury has been retrograde since 10th May, the day Jupiter entered the sign of Aries. So maybe 10th May, we could have felt a subtle shift in energy. But anyway, I'm digressing again. Coming back to this, Mercury will be retrograde till June 3rd, and Mercury will retrograde in the signs of Gemini and Taurus. Now, Gemini is a sign that Mercury rules, and now it's retrograding back into the sign of Taurus, right? And when Mercury goes retrograde, communication can slow down. Also, what happens is that we review Mercury related things, and Mercury is a lot of little things, right? Mercury is your thinking, it's your communication, it's your how you place the furniture, right? It's your habits, what time you wake up, what time you sleep, what you eat. It's your lifestyle, it's the job that you do. It's not your career, but it's the job that you do. So it's a lot of little things. And in today's day and age with social media, Mercury is also social media. Mercury is marketing. So if you're into business, marketing plays an important part. So all these things come under review when Mercury goes retrograde. And Mercury is also electronics. It's our gadgets. So those also kind of slow down or malfunction when Mercury is retrograde. And it's not the best time to usually start something absolutely new, especially when it comes to things like communication. So, because Mercury is the ruler of communication, right? So, it's not the best time for that, but it's a great time for reviewing things you worked on, say your social media or marketing, or maybe writing, or maybe you're reviewing your diet, or maybe you're reviewing your day-to-day routine and wondering how to make it more effective. So things like that. So we are going to be reviewing these things up until June 3rd, and in the sign of Taurus, right? Taurus is also our material wealth. It's our skills that help us make that material wealth. And we had a new moon solar eclipse on April 30th, 1st May, depending on your location, in the sign of Taurus, right? And that new moon solar eclipse brought in new energy that we will work on for a long time, which is to do with how we acquire wealth, which is to do with our values, which is to do with our own self-worth, right? It's to do with our skill set as well. And that brought in that new energy. And why I bring this up now is because Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Taurus, probably making us review these things of, okay, what's the best way to work on my finances? Okay, what's the best way to work on my skill set? Okay, what skills do I need to make my dreams a long-term reality? And the full moon lunar eclipse, which happened on May 15th or 16th, again, depending on your location, was a turning point, right? It was in the sign of Scorpio, which is about transformation. And this one was in a square to Saturn, right? That's the most important aspect. It was making, and a square to Saturn means decisions, right? Decision time. It's time to decide. It's time to streamline. It's time to really, take that step where you leave behind something and step into something. Because what is a decision, right? It's a finality. It's a finalization of something. So that lunar eclipse asked us to do that. And why I'm bringing this up again is because Mercury is retrograding over the sign of Taurus, where we had the eclipses, probably asking us to review a little bit more about, okay, what's the best way to make what's the best way to work on the skills, the finances, my own values, how I feel about myself? What's the best way? So we are getting help from Mercury, you can say, in assessing those things. And coming back, I know I'm going back to last week, but it's important. Coming back to the full moon lunar eclipse, right, which happened in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is about transformation, and that eclipse in a square to Saturn could have felt challenging. It felt challenging for me, very, very challenging. Sunday into Monday, it was not easy. So it could have brought about this intense emotional release, which is what happened to me. And it was a turning point, right? It was a point where we were asked to release a lot of things and decide. So what I'm trying to say right now is that because of the background, right, so much energy in Pisces in April, then the eclipses and the full moon eclipse in Scorpio, that's really asking us to let go of the past in a major way and decide. Aries energy is really, really helpful right now. But I had to talk about Mercury and Pluto. Coming back to this, so Mercury is helping us, and with a trine to Pluto, Pluto is transformation. It's the ruler of Scorpio, where we had the full moon lunar eclipse, and this can help us ease into the transformation, right? When it comes to perhaps our thinking, or our day-to-day routine, or our lifestyle, or our communication, right? All Mercury things, it can help us ease into that transformation, because Pluto is transformation, the transformation we need to make to align with the new energies that are coming in, whether that's your routine, whether that's your lifestyle, whether that's how you think. So that's happening on Wednesday. So that's why I digressed a little bit, but that's what Mercury trine Pluto can bring, a transformation to our day-to-day routine, lifestyle, communication, thinking, health even, right? Mercury, so that we can align with these new energies that are coming in, so that we can take action, Aries, to really, do things, start things, make things happen. Because in order to accept the new energy, right, in order to close out the old, full moon eclipse in Scorpio, it's not always internal. We might need to make changes in our lives. We might need to make changes in how we live our day-to-day, Mercury, in the work that we do, in our health habits, so that that new energy can come in. So that's Wednesday. And then on Friday, we are going to have Venus square the sign, square Pluto, right? So Venus is right here, and by Friday it's going to move on to 28, and it's going to make a 90-degree angle with Pluto. And Pluto is transformation, yes, but Pluto transformation does not always feel very easy, right? Because it's a complete transformation. It says this is not serving you and it has to change, right? And in this case, the it is Venus. Venus is our relationships. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. It's our finances. It's our material wealth. So Pluto here is saying, hey, you know what, Venus, you also need to change things up. Right? What is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you need to change? What is it that you need to transform to let these new energies come in, to be able to make these new energies manifest, right? What is it that you need to change? So Venus is relationships. Venus is our material wealth, it's our skills, it's our values. So now Pluto in a square, and squares require us to change, right? A square is an aspect that requires us to change. So that's what Pluto is asking us. It's asking us to change perhaps something in our relationships, or our finances, or our skills, or our values. It's asking us to take a deeper look at these things. So that's what's going to happen. Perhaps a little transformation we need to make to these things. And it could be an internal thing, right? It could be perhaps, maybe, because Pluto is a very internalized sort of energy. It's the planet of our psychological makeup also. So it could be something like maybe letting go of a way of approaching a relationship, right? Because we are doing a lot of letting go right now. The full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio is about making these changes, and Scorpio is a relationship oriented sign, right? Libra and Scorpio both, but Scorpio is the deep intimate connections we have. So there's been a lot of energy about letting go, connected to relationships as well. And now perhaps this square on Friday is just a continuation of that, but a peak out point in that energy, asking us to transform relationships, our skills, how we approach our finances, our values, right? Our own self-worth. How do you feel about yourself? All these things. These things can come up really strongly when we are in eclipse energies. So that's Friday. And then on Saturday, right? On Saturday, we're going to have Venus here move into the sign of Taurus. So Venus rules two signs, right? It rules Taurus and it rules Libra. So Venus functions really well in Taurus. And Venus, like I said, is about relationships. It's about finances. It's about our skills. And what that means is that these things find stability and security when Venus is in Taurus. When Venus is in Aries, right? Venus does not like to be in Aries. So our approach to relationships, our approach to perhaps something financial, our approach to how we feel about ourselves, or even our appearances, can be impulsive, right? It can be impulsive. And with relationship, with finances, with even our appearance, right? Anything, usually, not always, usually anything impulsive doesn't end well. So That's why Venus doesn't really function very well in Aries, which is a Mars ruled energy. It's a masculine energy, and Venus is the feminine. So in Taurus, it works really well there. It's where we become stable with our finances. It's where we become secure with our relationships. So that's going to happen. We'll find maybe a little more stability, maybe a little more security, maybe a little more enjoyment and indulgence, right? Because Taurus is indulgence. And what is Venus? Venus is the good things in life. It's luxury. Venus is pure luxury. So it likes that. It does not like to be in Aries where it has to be a warrior and an athlete, because that's not luxurious. What is luxurious for Venus is a Taurus, where it can indulge, where it can feel good. So our relationships, our finances, our approach to ourselves, our approach to our skills can be a tad bit slower, more stable, more secure with Venus in Taurus. And now if you look at the chart, right now, if you look at the chart, actually you can't see it on this one, but assume Venus is in Taurus. We have 4 energies in Taurus, and we have the moon's going to move on, and we'll have 3 energies left in the sign of Aries. Aries in Taurus. The focus has been shifting very intensely month by month. Capricorn, Aquarius, Aquarius, Pisces, right? Pisces, Aries, and now it's Aries, Taurus. Aries is starting things, doing things, taking action, making things happen. And Taurus is our finances, it's our resources, right? It's the food we eat, the raw materials. We cook in Cancer, but we procure the raw materials in Taurus. It's how we feel about ourselves. So all these things are what are highlighted right now. Aries and Taurus, starting things, and finances, and our self-worth and resources. So that's what is highlighted, and that's, I believe, Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm still not done. And then on Sunday we have, let me show you guys, we have the Mars-Jupiter conjunction. So Mars and Jupiter, Mars here and Jupiter here, they are going to meet up, okay? And Jupiter is a magnifier. It is in a Mars-ruled energy, and Mars is action, it's drive, it's taking initiative. So those energies are just going to blow up, right? A supercharged energy to help us take action and make things happen. But like I said, every sign has a dark side as well. Dark side of Mars is aggression. The dark side of Mars is being frustrated, right? Because if Mars doesn't get to channel that energy, it gets frustrated. So Jupiter is going to magnify that as well. But usually, since Jupiter is a benefic, right, it might not be the negative manifestation, but my suggestion is to channel this Jupiter Mars in really making things happen and doing things, and not letting it go in the other direction of aggression and frustration, and like a lot of frustration or aggression. So this is going to be on Sunday. So we are going to feel the build up this week, and this build up is of the Aries energy. With Mars entering the sign of Aries, you're going to feel that even more. And since Mars and Jupiter are going to get closer and closer and closer till the weekend, we're going to feel it. So a great week to really get to your to-do list and start doing those things. If you have a project that you're too scared to do, this is the time. I know Mercury is retrograde, but the back end, right? You can always do the back end right now. So great time for all those things. And Mercury retrograde in a way is helping us, but in a way is also not helping us. It's helping us review the Taurian themes that the eclipses brought to light at the beginning of the month, right? It's not helping us because Aries wants to start. Aries wants to push. Aries is impulsive. It wants to go now, but Mercury retrograde is slowing things down. So that's the energy. And I think I have one more thing left. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about happens technically next week, so I'm just going to mention it, but I will cover it in detail in my new moon video and in my next week's video. And that is that we have a new moon in Gemini. So that's happening on Monday. So it's going to be at 9 degrees of Gemini, and I just wanted to mention that we are building up to that new moon this week. And what that means is that this week is a week about closing out the last lunar month, which has been an eclipse month. So the whole week's energy on top of this is also about closing out the last lunar month, releasing, letting go, subconscious release. So that's also happening while we have this Aryan energy to go after what we want. So that's the week in a nutshell. And if you look at the chart right now, I mean, there's so much concentrated energy, right? I cannot emphasize that enough. This side is empty. All these energies are empty. There's just a lot of concentration of energy. And when there's a lot of concentration of energy, it feels intense, right? That does not mean it's negative. It just has this feeling of feeling intense. So keep that in mind. And slowly, the energies are going to start spreading out because the sun is going to move on. Mercury will get out of retrograde and move on. So, and the moon moves on so fast, it will. So slowly, the energies will start separating. But right now, they're really close, right? As they have been since the beginning of the year almost. So that's the week in a nutshell. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next video now. Bye.